But we're
Okay.
just here to help people, have access to fitness and, a smart way to do it. You don't have to spend too much money. There's all kinds of information out there. We have it, YouTube has it, how to stay in shape at home and things like
Yeah.
that. And I think
Yeah.
that's pretty much the norm going forward here is people need to find solutions
Right.
that work for them at home. And I think our system is a good, addition to that.
Hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome to Masters in the Fitness Business podcast, where you get to stand on the shoulders of giants. And today we have a giant coming to you from Tarzana, California. And for those of you who know where that is, it's right outside of LA. But this guy, Shawn Finnegan, he is a jack of all trades. He has a master's in physical therapy. He's a physical therapist at the Mayo Clinic out there in California. And then he's also been a personal trainer. He's been a fitness model. He is a cancer survivor and an inventor. So glad to have you on the show, Shawn. Did I forget anything?
I was in the Navy. I served the Navy Hospital Corps.
Okay. And he's a Navy veteran on top of all of that.
Well,
Yeah.
that's right.
Okay. So, so we have a lot to dig into, but first I want to, scratch my own itch, which I do often on this show. And I know we talked before we started recording, but I think it's super, super interesting. So I know you started out as a personal trainer. Is that correct?
No, I started in 1991. I started as a physical therapist. That's when I got my
Okay.
master's from the Mayo Clinic. And I was a
Okay.
traveling physical therapist for a while. I didn't get into personal training till later when I sort of got disenfranchised with the ill care model. And I wanted to, know more about wellness and fitness and things like that. And it kind of coincided with my modeling career as well. So I started studying nutrition and fitness and I became a personal trainer and I dropped my PT, for a little while. And I did, personal training for like 7 years, nutrition consulting, things like that out of Gold's Gym here in Venice. So I kind of took a break and did that and really enjoyed the wellness aspect of it, teaching people how to stay fit and healthy and, and lead their best lives in their best body. So that's kind of what I did. And then, now I kind of do both.
Okay.
And then I kind of came upon this product that I invented basically.
Yeah.
And while I was working as a therapist / personal trainer at a clinic. So
Yeah. And then how did you get into the fitness modeling? And then I want to get into the cancer too. Because that was a pivotal point in your life.
yeah, yeah. Well, what happened was I was doing a traveling assignment for physical therapy in Arizona. And I used to work out a lot because I just, I've been a worker outer, I guess, since high school. So in college, I did it. And then in college, I got approached to model in undergrad school. So that's when I kind of got introduced to it. I dabbled in it a little bit. And then, school took over. So I couldn't really pursue the career in modeling per se. So I basically did physical therapy for a while. And then I did these traveling assignments and I landed in Arizona and I was at a gym in Arizona. An agent approached me and he's like, "Hey, have you ever wanted to do some modeling and stuff like that?" I said, "Yeah, I used to do it a little bit, but I didn't, so that's what kind of got it started again."
Uh-huh.
And then I started getting bookings for these, for Joe Weider and, the Muscle and Fitness, Exercise, and a lot of these magazines.
Mm-hmm.
And I was lucky. I had 2 covers in 1 year. I was like, "Oh, wow, I'm going to be somebody."
Uh-huh.
But fitness modeling, there's really no real career.
Yeah.
But I had fun doing it. It was
Yeah.
nice, but it, kept me in shape, for a long time. So,
Yeah.
but that's what kind
Yeah.
of got me into that whole thing. And I really
Yeah.
liked
Once you get the cover,
fitness. I've always,
that's the pinnacle, isn't it? The cover shot.
yeah, exactly. I thought I was the man. I had 2 covers in 1 month. I was like, woohoo.
Yeah.
But it's always about the next guy coming up anyway. So
Right.
I was happy to have that moment in time. It's kind of fun to
Yeah.
see. But
And
for me, it wasn't really you know,
yeah,
go ahead.
I know, I respect that. And then I mean, you were grinding it out. You were doing the fitness modeling, the personal training, and then working on the Anchor gym. And then that's when you found out that you had cancer, correct?
Right. I developed the product, like a year before I got cancer. So 2009, it started to, what happened was I was working at a clinic and I would teach, it was mostly 80 to 90-year-old patients because it's Medicare population where I worked.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would basically have them on physical therapy, teach them what they needed to know, and then give them the bands and straps to work out in the clinic that I was in. They would come in on their own because it was a fitness gym as well. So there's personal trainers, Pilates instructors, yoga instructors, and so on. So they would come in and they would try to do the exercises that I taught them, and they would throw their bands over different pieces of equipment in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a couple of accidents where they put them on there, they weren't so secure, and then they came off and they got injured. So I had two injuries for two of my patients. And I was thinking, well, we need a place for them to anchor their straps and bands. And that's when I started to look around to find out. I really wasn't in the inventor mode yet. I was just kind of looking around for a solution to put into the gym and clinic that I could feel good about.
Mm-hmm.
And really, there was nothing out there that I really liked. It was all these big, contraptions. You had to buy their specialty bands. You had to have these clip hooks. You couldn't, so there's a lot of limitations that I found. So I kept thinking, maybe there's just a way to just, develop a hooking system for all the bands and straps. I couldn't find that. So I talked to my friend who's an engineer, and he was like, yeah, we can build you, an anchoring system. So we went through a lot of iterations of, hook design, and we landed on the hook design that it's currently now, which is a T-bar at the end. So it's an open hook, so you don't need fasteners. So any band or strap will work. You just loop it and pull. And the T-bar at the end of the hook, it's like a mooring anchor. It won't allow any disengagement to happen. So if you're pulling on a strap or band in a certain way, it will catch it. So safety was the key in that situation. And so we were able to get a patent on it. And then that kind of started the ball rolling, and then started selling it in 2009, 2010. And then right around 2011, that's when I got the cancer. There's all, everything kind of went, on a halt for like a year, because it took me about a year to recover from, it was a throat cancer, stage 3 throat cancer. So, chemo and radiation, I was pretty much out of it.
Yeah, I bet. And you said you had what, like 3 surgeries in like 2 months or something like that?
Yeah, I had a tonsillectomy, a nodectomy, and I had a feeding tube placement, which is, it is a surgery, but so because I had it shut my throat down. I couldn't eat or drink. So I had to have, nutrition put into my tube.
Wow.
And I lost a ton of weight. I lost like 80 pounds. I was 130 pounds. It was pretty scary,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine you went through some self-reflection in that time.
Yeah, most definitely. I had 2 kids. Yeah.
Right.
I thought I had a lot of history of cancer in my family, and people dying young in their 30s and 40s. So I thought, here we go, this is it, But thank God I was able to get over it. Now I'm 10 years past it, so I think I'm out of the woods. But at the time, you're in there. It's like, I was dependent on a pain medication for a little while, so I understand the dependency of opioids because I experienced that. To come for a year to be on those things and then to come off of them, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
So I had to go through the withdrawals and all that stuff for that.
And that's after you got through the cancer, then you had to go through opioid withdrawals. Yeah. Yeah. So
because I was on a lot of pain meds.
Yeah. So that's a hell of a story. And then, but you, through all that, you stuck with this, and then you actually use this system to rehab yourself and get yourself back into shape and add weight and add muscle and all of that. So I want to get into that for sure. So, but before that, I want to give you a little disclaimer to all the listeners. So Shawn took his kids hiking over the weekend, and he came back and he has like an awful case of poison oak or poison ivy. So he's like, just his skin is on fire right now,
Totally
and
fire.
he's
Great.
gonna go straight after this podcast to the dermatologist to get some
Unbelievable.
relief. So you know, I got to give you props for still doing this, sitting there while your skin is on fire. So if we see you fidgeting, that's why. But so take us through like your rehab and like where you picked up on the product. You'd already developed it, you got the patent, and now you're starting to create a system and use that system to rehab yourself.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great because I have it in my living room. So I just basically I created a system for myself to follow. It's super easy, and I teach it to other people as well. I assign a day of body part per day, and I basically work out that body part, a couple sets to failure. And then so I kind of follow this, you know, every day. Every Monday is chest and triceps. Every Tuesday is back and biceps. Every Wednesday is legs. So because a lot of people ask me, you know, how do you split your workouts up and things like that. And I kind of systematize. I like to systematize everything I do. So kind of that's my military background actually.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, you systematize it. So you just follow it. You don't question it. You just kind of follow it.
Mm-hmm.
So I do about an hour cardio per day on my spinning bike, and I do about 20 to 30 strength training with my large loop bands and suspension strap, and I pretty much keep it, you know, to that. And I try to, you know, use the philosophies that I've been taught about, you know, how to take your muscle to failure for more gains and more effective results and things like that, and how to maintain, you know, ideal lean body mass, things like that. And then the cardio helps, you know, with the body fat and so on. So
Right.
I've been able to maintain about 8 to 10% body fat for a little while now. I got my weight back up. I'm 30 back, you know, when I had cancer, and I'm up to 70. So I kind of went through this whole body transformation, you know, from 130 to 170. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah. And then
Yeah. So,
you keep your nutrition pretty clean, but it's less for aesthetics and more for health, correct?
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My modeling days are over. So it's like, I just want to maintain low body fat, and keep my lean body mass high and keep my strength up. Because when I had cancer, dude, I was like so weak. I couldn't even do a push-up.
Mm.
I would stand up and pass out. I was like so weak at the time. It was crazy. So
Yeah.
I understand and, you know, felt that weakness. So I
Yeah.
never wanted to feel that again, you know,
Mm.
because it's just too much. Climbing stairs was difficult. It was like everything was hard. So now
Mm-hmm.
it's like I can do 30 pull-ups, 110 push-ups. So I'm like, yay, you know,
Yeah.
this is how I want
Yeah.
to feel right here, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
just, you know, following the system, doing it every day.
Yeah. And so, this is the only system that you use to train from a strength standpoint, correct?
Yeah, this is the only thing, just the large boot bands. Mm-hmm.
So, tell us how, like a trainer, especially now during COVID, and with you in California, I know you guys are under some of the strictest lockdowns in the nation. How would how would a trainer take this system and use it to train clients online? Because all they got to do is buy the anchor gym and some bands, right? And then they can have the client. So it's minimal investment, minimal equipment, and so it's real easy to set a client up with this and
Sure.
train them with this system. Correct? You want
Yes.
to take the listeners through how that might look?
Well, we work with all budgets. I mean, you know, we have a total gym, you know, wall gym set up, and it's just over $200. And you get the large loop bands, a stretch strap, you get a body weight strap, you get a rack to hold your stuff on, you've got a system to use it on, and that's great because you have all these different tools, so you can do all these different types of exercises, and you can really do heavy strength training with large loop bands. Those are the thicker bands. So you double those things when you're talking about 100 pounds of pull.
Yeah.
So I just have to use gloves to protect my hands. So that's really the only caveat that, you know, those things. Now, handled bands, to me, I tried handled bands, and discourage anybody from using them. But if you're trying to mirror like exercises in the gym with a heavier weight, it's cumbersome to connect all the bands that you need to that little the handle straps or bands or the handles. Put enough tubes on there, and you got to unclip them like that. So large loop bands to me were like way more efficient, and I like efficiency.
Right.
I was popping idea was what's the best way to do it. And for me, to be able to change your weight is so much easier with large loop bands because all I have to do is grab a different, length of the band rather than clip a thing onto it. So, but everybody's different. Some people love the handles. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Whatever works for you, use that, kind of thing. But I'm just preferring the large loops and I use the suspension body weight strap a little bit as well. That's like a TRX kind of a thing.
Right.
So I like that as well. Yeah. So. But
and
yeah,
I
personal
like
trainers great.
I like the large loop bands. I call them super bands. And versus the handles, because when the handle bands fail, they break and snap.
Sure.
And that's when injuries. And then those super bands, they kind of peel like an onion. So you can kind of see when that band is getting near the end and replace it. And so when they, you can see them starting to fail. So they won't like just fail and snap and result in an injury. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, you can buy some bands that have an inner tube or like a break resistance. So if the outer one breaks, there's an inner tube but those are more expensive and things like that. But you're always running into the problem of clipping on and off, bands to get the right weight. And, some like that, some don't. But we work a lot with personal trainers that do in-home stuff, and they buy these for their clients, so they have more stuff to do with them. Right. Because there's so many exercises that you can think of or dream of. Because as a trainer, a lot of trainers are very creative with their their training methodologies and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about our system. That it opens up for more creative exercise.
Yeah, I mean, because with these bands, you were showing me all the different ways that you can mount them and use them, even all the way to the hammock in your bedroom there. We got it. We'll get to that. But you were mentioning about doubling up these large loop bands. Right. That's a lot of poundage. So how much weight can these things tolerate?
Well, we have two tolerances because we have a regular commercial / home system, and that's called the H1 and H2. So hook, we basically named it for how many hooks are on a plate. So H1 is one hook on a plate, and H2 is two hooks on a plate. And those are rated up to 800 pounds.
Okay.
So those are the kind of systems where they do go in the homes, yes, but also they can go into a commercial setting, a group exercise setting, a CrossFit setting, or military or whatever, because they have the higher pound. We have a mini series, so a mini H1, which is a smaller scaled down hook, but that has about 300 pounds of pull, which is basically a consumer product because we don't sell it into gyms and things like that because the tolerances are a little bit lower. But 300 pounds is plenty of weight because you never really get to that with a band or a suspension strap or anything like that because it's impossible, right? So they're built to last. We have lifetime guarantees on all of our stuff, and they're rock solid for sure.
Yeah. So you have any on hand that you can show us how it works?
Yeah. I'll show you the difference. Okay. So here is an H1. Okay. So you see the rod is a little thicker. Now here's a mini series. Okay. So the footprint's a little bit less. This is our off-white. We did this one particularly for home users because this is a very common interior color. So when you put it on your wall, it kind of blends in with your wall versus this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you can paint these or do whatever you want with them, honestly.
Yeah.
So basically the T-bar, this is what I'm talking about. See, there's a gap here. And then there's a T-bar right here. and that's what catches the band. So you basically loop the band on, and then when it rides up here, this T-bar will basically catch, and so it won't disengage and it won't snap you in the face or whatever. So you don't want that. So
Yeah, that's important.
you can do any crazy exercise you want, and rest assured it won't come off. But you can clip things onto this as well if you have clip hooks or things like that. It won't bother it. And these are indoor outdoor too, so we powder coat them. So if you want to put them outside or whatever, they'll still be okay for it.
And we went when in the first phone call, you went through the different ways that you can mount them, because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to mount it here, this way, and that's all I can do. But you were telling me you can mount them pretty much any which way, right?
Right. I created this. So my wish list when I created this thing was because all the other competitors, they have this big monstrosity on your wall. You can't, piece it together or modulate it. So I said, okay, I want a modular system. So if I have a wall, I can say, okay, I want one here, one there, or based on what I'm going to do with the group of people I'm dealing with or working out with. So it gives you a lot more flexibility to have, and also with budget too. So you can buy one or you can buy many, and you can just, configure your wall how it fits your needs. So that's another feature that's kind of a add-on feature that I really like.
But you can mount it even sideways and upside down and it'll still work, correct?
Yeah, it'll still work. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no need to, but yeah, some people, and ceiling mounts as well. So you can hang heavy bags from it. Or like I have a hammock in my room like you're talking about.
Yeah. Can you show us that real quick? I think that's super cool. Yeah.
So back over here, I have two of these, right? And then I have one over here. I can't see it over here. I can't see it. Anyway, I can't get to my computer to see it. But so anyway, so I basically put my hammock up there, and my kids love it. They hang out.
That's awesome.
It's pretty fun.
That's awesome.
It has a little more versatility, I guess, but it's pretty cool to hold all that weight, no problem.
All right. So you can get set up, like you said, in the complete gym for like $200 and start training your clients. If you're a trainer, wants to train online, train their clients online with the system, you can. And then is there a place where they can go to get like instructional videos on any of this stuff?
Yes, we have a YouTube channel. If you go to the coreenergyfitness.com, or you can go to theanchorgym.com, it goes to the same place. So we have a YouTube channel. So we have a bunch of YouTube videos, and I post a bunch of videos too. I do little workout videos to show people, okay, here's where you anchor the band, and here's how you execute the exercise, and more instructional things, just short little 1-minute deals. And I'll be doing more of those as well. And we have other customers submitting things as well. And so they submit videos, and they submit their pictures of their setup, because if you go to our website, we have a gallery area. And in that gallery, I post, all these our customers that send us pictures of their setup. I just put them into the gallery. So it gives people ideas, because you can mount this any way you want. So we have a lot of different variations of it, which is a really cool thing, to see how people are using it, and actually mounting it, and the configurations that they put together.
Yeah, like you said, showing their creativity with it. I like that.
Yeah.
And then, so how would a trainer get this to their client?
We would drop ship it.
Okay.
A lot of trainers, we set trainers up as dealers. So if they want to make money, we can do that. And or if they don't, then we just send it right to their customer, and they just pay us. So we have 2 facilities that we ship out of, from Reno, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. So really quick on shipping, and we're good with inventory and things like that. So quick turnaround.
Yeah.
So,
and then, but if you guys drop ship them, the trainers don't get anything. What if they get set up as a dealer?
Well, they would just submit an order to me, and they would pay through them. So I would, as a dealer, we set you up with a credit card. So as you order, we just process that credit card that you give us, and then we ship it to their customer. So it's
Okay.
pretty seamless. We have a lot of dealers, that have a considerable dealer network. So that's how they do it. They basically do a purchase order. They email me the purchase order number, what it is I'm sending, and then the address to it. And then I basically bill their credit card, and then they collect from their customer.
Okay. Got it.
So they make about
Okay.
40% margin. So which is pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And then what is that the same margin on the $200 gym setup?
40%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So
Okay.
what I do is I send out a price list, and that price list has all the wholesale dealer pricing on it, so they can get an idea of what they would be charged, and then the retail. We have a map, retail policy. So there's a minimum advertised price, and here's the retail price. So there's like 3 different prices.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to them, whether or not they want to, whatever price point they want, but they can't go below a certain amount. So it kind of levels the playing field for all our dealers.
Yeah. And then if you have just a regular gym or a commercial gym, that you can set this up inside for people as an alternative to, just regular weights. They can still do their strength training with this. Or if you're training clients outside, then you can also mount them outside and have kind of an outdoor option as well, right?
Yeah, I have several gyms around here in my area that do the outside thing right now. So they just mounted them on their walls outside, and so they can take their customers out.
Mm-hmm.
And with COVID now, it's even a better idea. So
yeah, because I know at my gym, and I was telling you this when we did our addition, we wanted bars mounted in the ceiling for suspension trainers, and then they couldn't mount them in the ceiling. They had to weld them to the ceiling. So if I ever leave that building, those bars are never coming down. I don't know what they're doing. And it cost me a lot more money because they had to weld them. But if I had this system, then I could have just found some studs in the wall and mounted it, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yep.
For a lot less money and a lot easier, because you don't have to loop the TRX around the bar like they do now.
Yeah, with the TRX, they have a clip hook thing, and you can take that clip hook off, and it has a little loop at the end for that clip hook, and that little loop you can mount that to our system, so it makes no noise, and it's smooth, and it's easy on, easy off, so you don't have to keep it up there the whole time. So if you want to use the space for something other than suspension training, then you can just take it right off easily. As opposed to with the TRX, you have to kind of wrap it around, and it's pretty, it's not as easy to say, okay, I'm going to take it off and just do that.
Yeah. And like you said, a lot of those contraptions that people hook up the suspension trainers to are kind of monstrosities. I had a buddy of mine, in his first gym, his dad made one, and it was basically a deer stand that he used to mount his TRX. That's, opening a gym, brand new gym on a budget. That's what that's called. Exactly. But you do what you got to do, right? So, okay. Anything else you want to share about the products?
Well, I mean, we've gotten some really great feedback from customers. Most everybody loves it. I mean, the limitation would be the barrier to entry, I guess, would be that you have to put it into your wall. We do have a door mini, which is this guy here, and it's basically this guy here mounted onto a plate, and it's a clamp. So this goes right over your door, and then you screw this onto your door so it secures it. And then you can secure it on top, on the side, or the bottom. So you can buy several of them or just move it around. Yeah. So that way you have different angles to perform exercises.
Nice.
Which is cool.
Nice.
So that eliminates the need to actually drill holes in the wall.
Yeah. Find a stud and drill into it and all of that stuff.
Find a stud, drill a hole.
Yeah.
But there's very little pushback from customers. I mean, I think because people mount, things to their walls more now than ever.
Right.
Especially like TVs and things like that. So
yeah,
it's kind of riding that wave of, okay, everybody's mounting their TVs, so it's like, okay, I can put another, plus, it's your gym, it's like, this is probably the number one most important thing you can do for your health is exercise.
Right.
and eat right, right? So, I mean, to me, it's like, it's a no-brainer. I mean, sacrifice, put a couple holes in your wall for your health, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're
Get
preaching
over
to the
it.
choir. You're preaching to the choir. You're doing this whole thing. I don't think I've heard one person say, as an option for this is, well, improve your health and fitness. No, it's, stay inside, wear a mask, get vaccinated, but nobody's, screaming that maybe we need to get in better shape as a nation, you know?
No doubt.
Yeah. So I think for me, that's the lesson I take from it, is that we need to get in better shape as a nation for
Yeah.
sure. But
That's
again,
our
I don't
mission
want,
right here.
yeah. Yeah. I don't want to go off on that tangent and climb up on my soapbox, but, well, this has been great. So what I do with each guest that comes on is my favorite part of the show.
Okay.
And then we'll run through this so you can get to your dermatologist and stop itching.
Itching,
Is
right? Itching.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see it,
Right?
man.
Right?
Oh, that's brutal.
Oh,
Yeah. Um, but so it's three questions, and we get some of the best answers, and that's why it's my favorite part of the show, because we get to kind of peek behind the curtain that is Shawn Finnegan.
okay.
So my first question is, what has been your most successful failure? And by that, I mean, at the time, it seemed like a devastating loss that you weren't going to be able to recover from, but you were able to take life lessons from that propelled you to greater success down the road.
Well, the cancer, I don't know if it was a failure, but the
Yeah.
cancer definitely moved my mindset in a good way. So I say cancer helped me in my life. I
Yeah.
was actually going through a divorce at the same time I was going through cancer.
Man.
I mean, but that turned out well too. So, I mean, I'm really good friends with my ex-wife, and we were able to co-parent really well, and we're
Uh-huh.
still, a family.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was horrible because, I was 130 pounds going through a divorce, trying to live on my own. I hadn't
Yeah.
lived on my own a long time. It was a struggle for me
Yeah.
to be able to
Yeah. So,
overcome that.
so what lessons did you take from that?
Oh gosh, what lessons did I take? I don't know. I'm kind of like, I kind of watch the world unfold. I kind of study Buddhism a little bit, and I try not to take things too personal, and I try to find the silver lining in everything. And I do a little bit of meditation every day, and that seems to help me a lot. And I just try to create joy in my life with everything I do. That's pretty much what I'm you know my MO throughout my life. Back then I worried about everything too much. Before I had cancer, I just felt stressed a little bit too much all the time. And now, after cancer, I just feel like, I feel more like in the flow, so to speak. I
Okay.
feel like I'm able to enjoy life more and see things differently. Because once you touch, you feel like you're dying. It kind of makes you think differently after you
Mm-hmm.
come out of it,
Yeah.
And so I think that's what the big takeaway for me was. It's like, I need to enjoy my life and really create great relationships with myself, with my family, my friends, and the world, the environment, and the people I'm
Mm-hmm.
around. So, I mean, it was definitely an eye-opening experience for me. And I thank cancer, thank,
Yeah.
really in the end, it really did
Mm-hmm.
help shift my life in a way that it's great, because I'm doing really, really great with my health, with my business, with
Yeah.
everything going on. I just felt like, everything's happening in the right way. And they call it the flow. I feel like I'm in
Uh,
the flow. It's just like
yeah.
you're just going down the river and you're just
Yeah.
enjoying the ride.
Right. Yeah. Not necessarily fighting, trying to swim upstream.
Exactly. I'm not
Yeah.
struggling anymore. I'm just
Yeah.
letting things happen, and I'm observing them happen, and I'm not judging the things that are happening.
Yeah. You're not connected to the outcome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just observing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool place
Okay.
to be in, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get that because, I had I don't know if you call it a near-death experience. I died for a little bit when I was a teenager,
Really? Wow.
and did have an experience connected to it. But for me, it was more about finding a purpose in this life, and also what's really important, right?
Yeah.
Because
Right.
it's easy to get caught up in all the shiny things and chase
Exactly.
things just for the sake of chasing them, right?
Right.
And for kind of forgetting what's important. So I definitely get that. So I appreciate that answer, and understand like why you think cancer. Most people will be like, why are you thinking cancer? But I get it. So, all right. And then my next question is, since your time in the fitness business, COVID is exempt, but since your time in the fitness business, what's the biggest surprise that you've had to deal with that you did not see coming?
In the fitness industry, or
Yeah,
the biggest surprise with related to like a product or
just anything. It could
fitness?
be training, it could be modeling, it could be, coming up with the Anchor Gym system.
Well, in my fitness modeling, I remember, all the guys that had great abs never did abs. I swear to God. I'm like, I would always ask him, like, man, you must do a lot of abs. He's like, no, I don't do any abs. I just control my diet. I do this and that. I'm like, wow. I mean, all those things, because I did a lot of commercials for Body by Jake and all that stuff, ab dolly and ab rocker and ab this, ab that. And it was just so funny because it's like, people still buy into the fact that if you're going to work here, you're going to get abs, and it doesn't work that way. It's so funny. And so that's kind of just a shock to me, is that that's still out there, that people buy into that. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you got all these guys with great abs hawking these products that none of them use.
Oh, I know. And I got hired to get fat once as a model, and then they hired me to do a trans
right. Yeah. Transformation. Yeah.
Yeah. So they said, okay, stay out of the sun, grow your hair out, my body, because they should shave everywhere. Get out of shape, and then
like
go
grow some scuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Look the part.
So they hired you for before and afters for a product?
Yes.
Yeah. Good to know. Behind the scenes of fitness marketing.
Yeah. So get out of shape for a couple months, and then, eat donuts and whatever. I gained, 15 pounds or whatever. Got out of shape, got white, hairy. And then, it's funny because when I worked at Gold's Gym, I would see that all the time, because there's a season for bodybuilding. And I was there for like 3-4 years. So I would see these guys come in, look like lumberjacks. They would come in, and just overweight, beards, white. They don't look like bodybuilders.
Right.
They look like lumberjacks. We call them lumberjacks. So they come in, and then, 4 months later, they're stage ready. It's like, what? They look amazing, shredded and temp. Because these guys know how to do it, right? They just go and just flip a switch, like Ronnie Coleman.
Exactly. Yeah.
He knows exactly what to do.
Right.
And they just follow that system to a T, man. And they're just unbelievably fit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. People think they're like that year round. No, they're just like that for the shows.
Well, some are. Some actually stay in shape year round. There's a handful of those guys that are just, because they can monetize that.
Okay, gotcha.
Like Michael Hearn and those guys.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Yep.
Doug Brignoli. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to, back in my bodybuilding days, I had to take a trip to the Mecca, the Gold's Gym there in Venice. But yeah, it is a zoo. Yeah. Venice itself is a zoo. But so my last question is, and I'm interested to hear this, is where do you go for your personal and professional development?
Where do I go? I read books. I don't like, there's classes online that I take. It's mainly has a Buddhism kind of a bend to it a little bit, I guess. Okay. So I do a lot of reading. I just read a really great book called Untethered Soul. It's really amazing. Untethered Soul. It's a must read. Here, I have it. It's right here.
Okay. And what's that about?
Buddhism.
Okay.
But also it's less esoteric. It's more like practical and how to do it, on a day-to-day basis. That's what I like to know, is like, okay, yeah, Buddhism is this, but how do you practice it? How do you bring it into your day-to-day life? So, and this guy pretty much talks about, it's really more about learning about yourself and understanding yourself and the universe, and, and to be able to be that observer and be in a state of joy and happiness while you're observing life, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I kind of boiled it down into a little bit, but I mean, there's a lot
No,
more.
that sounds great. I mean, and it's like anything else. It's like meditation, right? It just takes time and practice. Because I remember when I started meditating, I'm like,
Yeah,
I can't do this,
yeah, it's
because my
weird,
mind
right?
was just like Pac-Man, right?
Yeah,
But like anything with practice, you get better at it. Mhm.
right. And I try to do
Yeah.
it every day for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's the first
Yeah.
thing I try to do when I get up in the morning. I brush my teeth or whatever, and then I sit down for 15 minutes and try to quiet my mind
Hmm.
and just really get into the flow of the universe and what's going on around me, and not struggle with it, and
Yeah.
just kind of observe it and let it be. And
Hmm.
that's really helped me, I think, stress reduction and things like that. And you can also do that throughout the day. You can kind of center yourself, and just start
Hmm.
focusing on your breathing, because your mind, like you say, chatter. Your mind has a lot of chatter going on, and it
Hmm.
kind of leads you down these rabbit holes sometimes. And then you
Right.
start to worry, and then you start to, all these other things start to come up, and it
Hmm.
doesn't need to be that way. But I watch my mind do that now, and then I bring it
Right.
back. I'm like, oh,
Right.
okay, I'm doing that now, and then I come back to the center, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't need to feel any emotion to that thought, because that's just my mind just shattering nonstop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I do it sometimes because I take jujitsu, and I do it sometimes before I roll
Yeah,
because I don't want to I don't want to roll with my mind, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. You want to
And
just see it.
exactly, and then also like if I'm rolling or going against a guy that's better than me or bigger than me, then that fear pops up. So I need to be able to ignore that as well
Exactly right.
too. And so yeah, it definitely helps. And like you said, getting centered throughout the day, I like that quite a bit.
You look
All
like an
right, well,
MMA guy.
what's that?
You look like an MMA guy, one of those guys.
Oh, yeah, everybody says that, but oh, well, no, my ears are normal.
Yeah,
I
no,
got I
yours.
got I got a buddy of mine. His ears look like chewed bubble gum.
Oh,
Um,
nasty.
it's awful.
Gross.
But and there's lots of funny stories around that. But anyway, so Shawn, this has been great. It's been great getting to know you.
Oh,
And I'll put the link to that book in the show notes, and also put all the links to contact you in the show
okay,
notes. So where
great.
can people go to contact you, get more information, get the product, all of that, and learn
Well,
more about the system?
the website's probably the best, because if you go to coreenergyfitness.com, and you go to the bottom, and it has all our social media links: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and all those things. You can follow us there, and go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, and things like that. Or email me. If you have any questions or whatever, I'm available. You can chat through Facebook chat. I get a lot of chats throughout the day. We have a lot of customers now, so I'm getting a fair amount of people chiming in and things like that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's always
Good.
fun to
Good.
talk to customers and see how they're doing.
Well, and get some feedback, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Oh,
Yeah.
and by the way, I have a wellness program set up on my website. It's basically it's a core wellness program. So all the years of experience with nutrition and exercise and cardiovascular exercise, strength training, and so on, I basically kind of like boiled it down to certain bullet points that I would always tell my clients and customers to abide by to get success. So it's kind of like a cheat sheet a little bit. So I have a
Okay.
nutrition one, I have a strength training one, and a cardiovascular one, and basically explaining to people, why are you strength training? What's physiologically what's happening and so on. The same thing with cardiovascular. Why are you doing this? And this is the mechanisms of things that are going on in your body that are happening as a result of you engaging in regular consistent cardiovascular exercise. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I have a little bit of education on the website for anybody to use. So if you're a
Yeah.
trainer or whatever, you can kind of use this. You can print out the nutrition guide, helps them go grocery shopping,
Okay.
get ideas on whole natural foods,
Yeah.
and things like that. So yeah, it's a work in progress. I'm always adding to it and things like that, and getting feedback from customers is always welcome. I love that. You know, and trainers too, because I was a trainer and physical therapist and so on. So I can relate to those worlds really well. So
Yeah.
but we're just here to help people, have access to fitness and, a smart way to do it. You don't have to spend too much money. There's all kinds of information out there. We have it, YouTube has it, how to stay in shape at home and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much the norm going forward here is people need to find solutions
Right.
that work for them at home. And I think our system is a good, addition to that,
Okay.
So, yeah.
Also, and all those links will be in the show notes. Just go to trainerjim.net, click on this episode of the podcast, and all the links to contact Shawn, learn about the products, get the educational tips, all of that stuff. You can explore it, and will be in the show notes. So, Shawn, thanks again, man, and get to the doctor.
Yeah, I'm gonna go right now.
Yeah, I bet there's definitely a sense of urgency there.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll
Okay,
keep
man.
you posted on that.
Yeah, for sure. I'll stay in touch.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
All right, man. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, you too. Take care, everybody.
All right. Bye.
All right.